that the Prime Minister has said the Voice is not his product. That's such an odd thing to say. Before we get to your piece, is it a bad sign for the Voice if the Prime Minister is distancing himself from it?
It could be, because at the moment his political fortune hinges on the fate of the Voice. And maybe he's reading the poll leaves rather than the tea leaves and starting to distance himself to protect his future just in case. It's possible. But I mean, he's been dancing around so many issues that it's very hard to know. As whoever it was said, he seems to know more details of what the opponents say than what he himself wants to detail for us.
It
So I
seems
think he
it feels
is
like he took
clearly in
half
trouble.
a step to the side, like he just sort of shifted a little bit away from it just in case.
The Albanese shuffle, okay.
I love it, the Albanese shuffle. Look, you've written a piece called "Vibe is a four-letter word. Albanese's referendum will break many hearts." And you start with a story centering on New Zealand in the 1980s during disagreement over nuclear policy. Now, in this, you detail the incident between a New Zealand official and a US official over the moral issue of nuclear arms. And the US official was upset by the moral judgment passed by New Zealand on the nuclear thing, and just to quote, he said, "For us, the transcendental clash with the evil empire of the Soviet Union is the greatest moral issue of our time." Now, Ramesh, what happens when disagreements over political policy become competing moral frameworks?
It becomes pretty much impossible even to explore possible areas of agreement, because if it's a moral issue, you cannot compromise. You cannot go into negotiation. Whether it's compromise during the First World War, in terms of we went for 2 years of extra war with I don't know how many millions more killed needlessly, and ended up in a situation very similar to where a peace could have been achieved. I suspect we are very close to a similar analogous situation in Ukraine. But the problem behind all that is, mine is a moral position, therefore I will not compromise. So the Indian Parliament passes a law saying no government can enter into negotiations on the border dispute with China, because really there is no dispute. It's ours, unquestionably ours. So it's ruled out. That makes foreign policy very difficult. We've seen the similar things with regard to denialism of genocide of the Armenians and all sorts of other things. So taking a moral position makes it very difficult to aim for any sort of, well, you have your moral position, I have mine. Can we put our disagreements to one side for the moment and see if we can work out a peaceful coexistence, if you like, where we can live with each other's minimum bottom lines, but find other areas where we can perhaps compromise and find a pragmatic solution to allow us to stay friends and work together. That becomes very difficult if you convert it into a supreme moral issue. That's the difficulty.